Hello everyone, this is Jenya Romanova and my YouTube channel. And today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic, namely how we make decisions. Let's imagine that starting from today, from this very second, you are personally responsible for your own breathing. What does it mean to be personally responsible for your own breathing? It means that the structure in your brain that currently regulates your breathing while you do whatever you want is now handing over control to you. And now, instead of being on autopilot, your breathing is under your direct control. Now just observe and tell me, please, how long it will take before you forget to breathe. In fact, it's not that important. How long exactly will it take before you forget to breathe? We will all have the same answer. We will all at some point forget to breathe, so it turns out that perhaps some specific structure or system in my brain or in my body ultimately makes the decision for me, especially when I'm not consciously thinking about it, even for a brief moment. And it turns out that, in general, your whole life is essentially a continuous cycle of decisions and choices, many of which are often made by some structure or mechanism in your brain or even your body, which you usually don't consciously remember. And so it turns out that your whole life didn't just happen to you by accident. It's not merely a coincidence or random event. It's actually your specific choice, shaped by your own actions and decisions over time. Whether you realize it or not, it's always been this way. Whether you remember it or not, but ultimately, it's your own personal choice. And that's actually good news because your choice it's a certain definite outcome, right? And an outcome or a result is exactly what you arrive at when you act in a certain way, when you make a particular decision or take a specific action. But before you act, you think, I hope. Well, more precisely, that's how it works. So let's imagine that you're hungry. It's Sunday, lunchtime, and you're like, I want to eat. And at first, the thought comes to your mind that you want to eat. So what would you like to eat today, for example? But, for instance, at first you come up with the idea that you'd like to have a light salad. Accordingly, then you think about where you can order a light salad right now. And then you're like, okay, there's a place nearby. And so in 15 minutes, we're already sitting there. And so the result of your life is directly a chain of your thoughts. And that's good news. Even if you didn't know that or you forgot. Now let's imagine that, just like with the breathing example, you start to control this process and begin to track the results in your life, the actions that led to those results and the thoughts that were at the very beginning. Interesting, isn't it? You can follow this chain starting from the results, or you can follow it starting from your thoughts. And this is where it gets really interesting. How did I form my opinion or my impression or the way I'm used to thinking about myself, about my life, about the world, about wealth, about love, about health? And now imagine that everything you have in your life is the result of just one thing: your thoughts. And thoughts, for sure, can absolutely be changed. Now, you need to take your time and very carefully make a decision about where you'll begin, where you'll start as you move forward. Well, let's say, for example, imagine that everything in your life is a result. And here, you can write down a result that you like. And here, you can write down a result that you don't like. But both of these, you created them. And then you can think about how, for example, you ended up with a lack of money. Well, let's say you don't have any money. Most often, people in this situation say, oh, I don't know how to earn money. Or, oh, I just wasn't really all that lucky. Oh, it just didn't quite work out. I'm paid too little. Look how interesting this is. The result indeed truly ultimately comes from both your thoughts and your actions. And the result, which is that I'm paid too little, means that I either do too little or think poorly about it, right? Or do I not think about it enough? Being paid too little is also a result. It's a result that you arrived at through your own actions. Your actions ultimately led to this outcome, and the true origin of your actions was your thoughts and beliefs. So this didn't just happen to you by chance. It's not simply that some bad boss is paying you too little, and it's not just a matter of bad luck or unfortunate circumstances. That's actually good news, too. It's simply the way you thought, then acted, and ultimately ended up with this final result as a consequence. Now, I suggest doing something very simple. Take a sheet of paper and write down all the results in your life, in love, in relationships, in health, in happiness, in joy. What else? In whatever areas you want, and then write, how did I act to arrive at these results? And then write, what was I thinking about this? Share in the comments what you come up with.